Shalom, shalom. You on Legendary Ross Corey. Today is August the 13th. I know this is a little late. I've been letting everyone do their thing on my brethren's passing and his Earth Strong Day. The Vaughn Benjamin of the late Akae Beka, the Archangel Michael. So I just want to give some insights on some stuff that I know and what I learned from my teacher over the years. It's been over like maybe 15 years. And I want to say blessing, love, and greetings in his name. His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I, the first, the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah. I'm Ross Corey. I give thanks for life, health, strength, and the opportunity to share this reasoning with the idiom. Today, I want to speak about a man who's more than just a lecturer, more than just a lyricist, more than any other prophet I've seen in the 20th century. I'm speaking about the master teacher, the messenger, the prophet, and the Vaughn Benjamin of Midnite, Akae Beka. You know, my personal testimony is I first saw him in flesh in 2007 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That time I was still young and the work still forming my trod, but the man's presence, it was like a living Psalms, quite firm, full of the word. Years later, October the 18th, at a Rastafari gathering in Atlanta, Georgia, the Almighty crossed paths again. And it was there, standing amongst the brethren and sisters, that he looked at me in eye to eye and gave me the words that I will never forget. Be yourself and continue the work of His Imperial Majesty. That was just not advice. That was a passing of the torch. The words sank deep in my spirit, and to this day, they guide every work I do in the name of Rastafari. And Vaughn's mission was not a man of an idle talk. He lived the brave in Rastafari. He was a student of His Majesty, studying scriptures, history, prophecies, African conscience, and world affairs, and pouring all that into our 72 lectures that he done in albums. His songs was not made just to entertain. They was lectures, sermons, and prophecies wrapped in all rhythms and melodies. Every verse was a reasoning session, calling the word of people back to the righteous, back to Africa, back to Jah order. The first chapter of the works came through the band Midnite that he was in. In 1997, they released an album called Unpolished, and that title, it said it all. You know, the sounds was raw, unrefined, but the message was pure gold. Let me break down some key songs from and lectures from the Unpolished. Don't move. Once you sight Haile Selassie, don't shift. Don't get shaken by Babylon temptation. Stand firm in the covenant. Mama Africa was praising the spiritual motherland, calling the children home, back to their roots. Propaganda, exposing Babylon lies in media, schools, and politics. Love right, teachings that love is discipline, actions, and more responsibility. Meditation, the ancient prophets of ways, hearing Jah voice through stillness. Wolf in sheep clothing, warning us against false teachers who look righteous but serve Babylon. Babylon, your days are numbers, is prophesizing all fall of corrupt systems. The first album of Vaughn made is really, it really wasn't a party song or party lecture. This was word, sound, and power. And 2015, the tribe took on a new name, Akae Beka, Archangel Michael. The sound deepened, the language became more mystical, and the urgency in the message was intensified. Like albums like Homeland, Portals, Protocols felt like sealed scrolls, instructions for the faithful to survive what was coming. Vaughn was diving into the ancient scriptures, using Amharic words, biblical codes, and history lessons in every verse. It's like he knew his time was short, and every lecture had to carry the weight enough to last after he was gone. His illness in carrying the works. Even when illness touched his body, Vaughn never stopped his work. He didn't use sickness as an excuse. He didn't use pity. Instead, he kept recording, touring, reasoning, right up until the Most High called him home. This is one of the greatest lessons. When you know your mission, no physical weakness can stop you until Jah say your work is done. And his passing in November the 4th, 2019, the news came to me from my brother. He called me real early in the morning, maybe 3 in the morning or 4, that the teacher has transitioned. It shook the world, and it shook me deeply. I still channel him to this day. It wasn't just a lecture passed. It felt like a prophet had gone back to the source, leaving us with the scrolls that he had written. In that moment, those words he told me in 2018 became more than a memory. They became more than a command. Be yourself and continue the work of His Majesty, he told me. So I took it as my duty to carry forward his teachings, to break down his albums, and to make sure the next generation understands that these are not just lectures, and these are the blueprints of living righteous into the last days. So the call of the study the works is like, he had so many, 72 different lectures on albums and reasonings. And in the future sessions, I will break down every single one, album by album, lecture by lecture, to show the layers and scriptures and history of prophecy and liberty in the works. Because if you only hear rhythms, you miss the lesson. And if you miss the lesson, you miss the purpose. So closing this out, I want to give thanks to the brethren out there that trotted for over 20-something years in his works. So I say to the iDem, study the works of the brethren, cross-reference with scriptures, ask Jah for guidance and understanding to the deeper meanings, and let Vaughn Benjamin's charge show us that one man fully dedicated to the truth can leave an eternal mark on the world. His flesh may rest, but his words live on. And as for I, Ross Corey, I will continue the works of His Imperial Majesty and continue the works for myself and my own source, just as the master teacher instructed. Jah guide, Jah protect, Jah bless. Give thanks and praise. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button.
I wanna feel this thing. Everyone up in this thing. Hey, David had occasion to chat against a boy with a stone and a sling.